Do you understand? So I'm very much particular about how I serve my clients, who I'm privileged to serve.
So do you have any, do you serve different types of clients in terms of, it can be old, it can be young, it can be, so there's no particular, it's not, it has to be a female, it has to be this.
No.
So anyone.
I serve people who had sex addictions, people who...
Sex addiction? For real?
Yes.
People can have, people definitely can have sex addiction. Welcome to Omon Odike, an entrepreneurship and career talk show where we'll help young entrepreneurs and professionals reach their full potential. My name is Omon Odike, your darling host, and I'll be bringing to you amazing guests who have seen it all to educate and inspire you with their beautiful stories. Let's go! Our guest today is an accomplished integrative therapist and the founder and CEO of Raising the Standard International, a distinguished private practice renowned for its expertise in facilitating profound healing from past pains and trauma. Our expertise lies in introducing individuals to their transformed selves through the utilization of integrative psychology, cognitive behavior therapy, and neuro-linguistic programming. Additionally, her extensive skill set encompasses emotional intelligence, life coaching methodologies, emotional freedom techniques, reparenting, and trauma therapy. She is none other than Murielle jean-michel, fondly called Queen Murielle. Let's welcome her to Omon Odike. Hi, Murielle!
Hi!
Good to see you!
Good to see you.
It's been ages!
It's been
Since Dubai?
Since Dubai!
Wow, welcome to Omon Odike.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to have you finally on Omon Odike.
I'm so happy to be here. This wonderful couch.
Yes. I'm so happy. And thank God you actually made it here.
Yeah.
So we want to hear your interesting story. We have talked about you, so the viewers know who you are.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they want to understand how you started this journey, your career journey. And so what inspired you to be an integrative therapist and establish the Raising the Standard International?
I usually ask people, do you want the real version or the sugar-coated one? Which one would you like?
The very real version.
The very real one.
The very, very, very real version.
I was actually in politics, right? I was in politics before.
Where?
Between the Netherlands and St. Martin, right? It's
not in Nigeria.
Not in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I was liaising between, and I used to represent UNICEF, speak for UNICEF, do stuff for the, for our parliament, work very closely, very grateful for her, our prime minister right now at the moment, our governor, all of that. And I was I was working towards becoming like the Minister of Education, like just being over education completely. That was really my plan, right? But sometimes you have a plan, but God has a different
plan for you.
So I remember
where was this happening?
This was happening between the Netherlands and the Caribbean, right?
Where are you from?
So I'm West Indian. I'm also European, but then you add the Nigerian inside.
So you're a combination of three different continents.
It's a combination.
Okay.
So what happened next was I prayed and I said, Lord, you should lead me, you should help me. And after that, I had a dream. And in the dream that I had, somebody brought me a paper. And when they brought me the paper, it said psychology.
Wow.
Right? Now, before this, I had not known anything except that psychology exists somewhere, right?
Yes.
And then I was like, God, what does this mean, So, I just felt by the leading of God to go and, do psychology. But at the school I wanted to go to, you had to have a signature from a governor or like a government because of the type of school that it was. And I'm thinking, this is easy. I'll just ask the governor. I know him. I'll just ask this different person. I know them.
And you get it's like a referral reference.
Yeah. So pretty much, I went to him, and he was like, Murielle, I would give you this signature with my eyes closed, but the deadline has passed. So I can't give you my signature. And I was like, oh man, so I have to wait another year. So I thought, okay. But then God told me, apply on your own merits.
Wow.
Apply without it, which is very, very strange. But just through obedience, I went and I applied.
So if I get you a faith-based human.
Faith-based human.
Like everything you do is directed by God.
If I started from my birth, you would understand.
Wow.
So I, was literally led. So I applied and then I got in. And it's a loting study, what we call in Dutch. which is, and then even, I remember, our head supervisor at the time was like, you got in?
From politics, you just wanted to read psychology just because you got
Just because I got it.
The leading from God that you should go and read psychology.
Definitely. And then I remember my very first day, the professor said, they gave us like an illusion of talking to somebody, right? Like talking to a real patient.
Okay.
And I remember I was just, it's your first day, so you're just doing what they're telling you to do. And then, the professor goes, you're quite gifted at this. The first day. And I looked at her and I'm thinking, I'm paying you thousands of euros. Of course I'm gifted,
She's just telling you what you want her to hear.
So it was only afterwards that I realized, I don't think she was flattering me. I think she saw something. Right. So, from then on, I did, all of my psychology studies, and I did all of the extra studies because I'm a very curious person. I have a goal at this moment to read about 8 books a month, like 2 books a week.
8 books a month?
Yeah.
When did you start?
I started a while ago. I'm an avid reader. Yeah.
When do you have time to do anything?
I have to put everything into a calendar, otherwise I won't get it done. Yeah. so basically that's, my current goal because of the things I want to achieve and the things I want to know. So I'm a very much curious for knowledge type of person.
You just want to chew the information, chew it.
And then after doing that, I heard, from God again that I should, start a company and call it Raising the Standard. And basically the instruction God gave me was when...
So this name is not just any name you just picked out?
No, it's from a scripture. The scripture is when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord will raise a standard. And the Lord told me that when depression comes in like a flood, and when anxiety comes in like a flood, and when grief comes in like a flood, and when suicide wants to come in like a flood, He wants me to raise a standard of hope, a standard of healing, a standard. So that's
how many years ago did this happen?
I don't know now, maybe 6, 7, 8. What year are we? When 2023?
Yes.
So it's been a while. It's been quite a while. So
continue. We really want to know how this company actually started.
Yeah, that's really how we started. And I started with in America. I was in America at the time in Texas. And then I had
you incorporated the company or something?
Yeah, and I had clients come.
And you had the degree to back it up?
Yes, and I had clients come. I started with them. Then I branched out to the Netherlands again. I have different connections and different networks in different places because of the places I travel and the places I live
previously.
Yes, and basically that's how we've been up and running since.
This is a very inspiring story of how this is also another example of a kingdom entrepreneurship entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So that's what you are.
But
how come you don't tag yourself like that? Because I notice a lot of people do. A couple of people who are faith-based entrepreneurs actually call themselves kingdom entrepreneurs.
To be honest with you, I've never even thought about it. I live my life on faith, so it's just my normal.
So you don't need to tag yourself.
I don't. No, even other people who have different faiths that come to me, they would say, I'm here for therapy, but I heard you hear from God. So what is God?
Okay, so there's a side of it that you hear from God.
No, in my sessions, people come and sometimes we pray and sometimes we. So I merge a lot of textbook psychology, but sometimes I add faith in it as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Mental health issues in Nigeria is extremely untapped.
Yeah.
Extremely. So. You don't have a lot of people who are trained in that field.
Very much so.
And for some reason, we still have this cultural bias whereby people don't believe that there's anything like mental health issue. In fact, you shouldn't even bring it near the neighborhood. And the more, the richer and more outgoing the person is, the harder it is for them to embrace mental health issues.
Yeah.
So how have you been able to take that on and, continue with your business? Because I believe it's a business now.
It is, yes.
So it's not just a therapy session where it's done for free.
It's a whole
You're being
business.
paid for it. So how have you been able to marry the way and the ideologies of people in Nigeria? Outside the country, the global, they have embraced mental health issues. In fact, I noticed that anything is, if they want to make an excuse, they just submit to mental health issues and give you that excuse. But here we'll actually have mental health issues. I will say, no, how can I have it? I'm not having any breakdown. I'm fine. I'm okay. Yeah. So how have you been able to struggle with that and still run the business?
I feel like in Nigeria, we're very smart. And once we understand how something works, it makes it easier for us to lean into it. When we don't understand, then we, take a step back. And I found that the more I've been able to explain to people, here, this is what's actually happening to you. This is the reason it's happening. And if we don't change this and fix this, it's going to cause a problem for you down the line that you don't actually want to have to experience. So the challenging part for me has not actually been getting people. That has not been quite challenging for me.
That's, I call it clients now.
Yeah, clients. It has not been, because also word of mouth. So maybe I speak to somebody else, they tell somebody else.
Yes.
So people usually, I run a private practice anyway, so I don't take on everybody. I choose who I work with. And I say this in the intake session that, based on this session, I'm going to let you know if, I'm going to choose to work with you. And one of the reasons I do that is because people think therapy is kumbaya. You come on the couch and you say, and how do you feel? And I don't do that. I really challenge you. We're going to cry through it, walk through it, heal through it, but it's not going to be easy.
And I notice your therapy is integrative. I'm not a doctor, but what I understand about integrative is using a lot of
disciplines,
the physical being, the spiritual being, the emotional being, all of it. You embrace all that in solving their problems.
Definitely, because if you come in through one angle, you may miss one. Do you understand? Like I ask my clients, what do you eat? Do you have a gym membership? Because all of that, so there's a part of your brain called the hippocampus, right? And the hippocampus part of your brain is the part that tells you about your memories, that helps you to remember things, etc. It also helps with emotions. So what happens is when you're somebody that does not exercise, your hippocampus don't actually make like me saying like
please I need to hear more because my exercise is almost like 1%.
Exercise plays a huge role in having really good mental stability. If you exercise, I always say exercise is one of the most underused drugs. You understand? Somebody will take a pill before that day, you wake up in the morning and run. Exercise is literally very good for your mental health and mental stability.
So what part, because you're going to explain something.
Yeah, the hippocampus. The hippocampus create new brain cells almost.
New brain cells. So if you're not exercising, your brain is not producing new brain cells. So what happens to you? You become dumb or something?
No, it's not completely like that. But that exercise helps that part
to function optimally.
Also help you to heal from trauma. Exercise also helps you to heal from different things you've been through because you get to release that, right? Almost.
But can't you release it in other ways?
No. Well, you can. You can dance. It's a form of exercise.
Yeah, I love to dance.
But dancing is a form of exercise.
Yeah, that's true. It's a form of exercise. But I do that in an informal setting. At home, I'm just dancing, release some stress.
That works.
Okay, so I'm not so bad.
No, you're not. You look amazing.
No, I get that. It's not about being slim or anything.
No, it's actually not.
Exercise is quite different, and it helps for so many things, especially
so many things.
Even infections and diseases and all that stuff.
It really matters.
Yeah.
It very much matters.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, could you walk us through some of the milestones that you have actually gone through, whereby that was so apt that took you from where you had the passion for it, or in this case maybe where you're led by God to where you are now that you can say, yes, this is a good business, it's a viable business. So what do you have any of that milestone?
I do. I have a lot of them actually, but because of the nature of my work, of course, there's not much I can say.
No.
It comes from the people I have helped, the marriages that have been saved, the suicide attempts that never happened.
Wow, you mean it goes that far?
Yeah, people who stop cutting themselves at night, people who
you've actually seen this kind of clients.
Yeah, definitely. People who are very much in touch with themselves, who know who they are without having to people please. People who can stand up, from different parts of the world and start businesses.
So you can actually change somebody's idea from killing themselves and they become normal again.
Yes, definitely.
Through therapy and a combination of other things.
Definitely, very much so. So the milestones really have been the lives that have been changed. The families that are still together today that did not get that divorce, So those are... Because of getting help from you. Yes, because of getting help, yes. So I thank God. I'm almost like so grateful. So your work in this moment. Your work, I think, sometimes I say that about my job too. Because I empower people in different ways. But one of the simplest ones is giving somebody a livelihood through a job. And I say my job is more than just
giving money.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, being paid for the service, but there's so much more because people get to live and survive.
Yeah.
So yours is in another dimension of
Very
greatness.
much.
So much. It's so awesome when you actually get paid for something that would actually change
the weddings
and transform people's lives.
The heartbreaks that turned into the meeting the loves of their lives. And you know, it's been amazing work.
I'm sure you're enjoying the episode already. I would like to take a moment to ask you to please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave your aha moments in the comment section below. We would love to engage with you. Okay, let's get back to the show. Murielle, you specialize in a wide range of therapeutic techniques such as integrative psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy, and neuro-linguistic programming.
Yes.
How do these methodologies contribute to the success that are unique?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of what I've said earlier. It's like using different disciplines. I believe everybody is unique. So when somebody comes to me, I don't start by saying, "Oh, let me do the exact same thing
that you
I did with somebody else." No, I listen to them, I study their family, I study where they grew up, I study everything. And after studying everything, I also study where they want to go. And then I start to think from all of the disciplines that I already know, what is going to work best for you. That's one. Two, if there's something that I feel like I don't know, I'm going to research it, because in my field, research is always coming out. So that's why I'm always reading too. So I also read and say, oh, maybe this is going to actually work better for you. Maybe we should do this instead. Do you understand? So I'm very much particular about how I serve my clients, who I'm privileged to serve.
So. Do you have any, do you serve different types of clients in terms of, it can be old, it can be young, it can be, so there's no particular, it's not, it has to be a female, it has to be this.
No.
So anyone.
I serve people who had sex addictions, people who...
Sex addiction? For real?
Yes.
People can have, people definitely can have sex addiction, but they actually come to you to tell you they have sex addiction?
Maybe they come and they don't know that it's that. And then
they just explain this is their problem.
Yes, or maybe people...
Is there a cure for that?
That's not how it works. People make certain decisions based on a perception that they have about the world and about themselves. And first, once you are able to rewire the mind and reprogram how they see themselves and how they see the world, they can now design the life they actually want to live. Do you understand?
So it's not just like black and white.
Everything people come with is a symptom. Do you understand? It's a symptom. And then what happens is what I listen for is the question behind the question. So somebody could be asking me a question, but I'm listening for the question behind.
The person is not actually saying.
Yeah, the question behind the question. And in Dutch, we call it de vraag achter de vraag.
Rewind. That is called what?
De vraag achter de vraag.
De vraag after the vraag.
Yeah.
Is that Dutch?
Yeah, that was Dutch, yes.
That was Dutch.
Yes.
Does it have an English explanation?
Yeah, the question after the question.
Oh, the question after the question. So you're just giving me...
Basically that.
That's interesting to know. Yeah, you've actually made, I think, for me, I've known about mental health issues. I'm not one of those Nigerians who refuse to embrace it, because I've seen it around me with people I know, with distant relatives, close relatives, and it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. I mean, on a serious note, it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
And I can tell that your own decision is more like a calling.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's more like a calling than actually doing the work like a work. And there might be a big, huge difference that you bring to the table doing the work the way you do it, which is faith-based.
Definitely.
So what would you say now to somebody who has no calling, to a one of our viewers who wants to start studying psychology because they love psychology? And mind you, that's the course my daughter is actually doing in school in the States right now.
Lovely.
And I was like, wow, why do you want to do it? Why don't you do something else? Why can't you do it? Because she's very intelligent. And why don't you do medicine? Let us know if it's medical field. But
she said so much you can do with psychology.
She said, I have a passion for it.
Yeah.
I love it. I want to do it. I want to help people.
Yeah.
And I think hers came from the foundation of the fact that when she was in school, that secondary school, she said she saw a lot of young girls in her class. I mean, in her school.
Yeah.
They had issues, problems. That she went as far as saying one of her classmates wanted to commit suicide, but nobody knew. But she told my daughter.
Yeah.
And they tried to seek help in school. there was
nobody
help,
to help
really.
her, yeah.
My daughter said there was really no help, and her mom didn't know, and her father didn't know.
Yeah.
But she's alive today. But she said she actually found herself counseling her. She didn't understand what she was doing, but she just did what she could do as a friend.
Yeah.
And that was the bet and the igniting force for her, saying she wanted to study psychology, and she never relented. So you see, that story is more like what you will hear than yours, where we say, says like, drop your tools and everything and go and study psychology when you actually had graduated. I want to believe.
Yeah, I've been doing.
And you've been doing politics. Then you dropped everything.
Yeah.
So your story is extremely fascinating, and I would
God
love to know
Yeah.
this journey over and over again.
God is kind. God is very, very kind. I wanted to say, even with your daughter, if I look back at my life, right, I have a lot of pocket moments where I was doing therapy. Do you understand?
For people informally.
Yes. There were a lot of pocket moments where I would find myself giving people, letting them know, listening to them, talking to them. Even at the time, in school, if something happened in the department, they would come to me to represent them, to talk to them, to me. And I thought, these are my political, my political instincts.
They didn't know where your voice was coming from. The voice.
So I may not go back into politics as a politician, but I do very much hope in the future that I could be an advisor of sorts. So
an advisor in that department. Health or
no, maybe in the Department of Health, but I'm very much still passionate about education. So that may come back to play at some point.
Okay, you talked about your journey as an integrative therapist. You talked about how you started, which is an unusual way. Most people will start that journey. But what has contributed to your success to date? What would you say has contributed? It can be one thing, it can be several things.
I think it's many things. I definitely think there's many things. First, God, definitely God.
If you didn't call God, I was going to say, then you didn't get it right.
Definitely God. I really trust him. He's a good father. Secondly, I would say the right people around you. It's very hard to build anything if the people around you are extinguishers.
Yes, exactly. Especially for something like this.
If you have fire and people are extinguishers, they're gonna, blow your fire out. But
people who encourage you and push you.
Definitely having the right people around me really made a huge difference.
And who was that?
So I started.
What kind of people? Friends
my first,
family?
Definitely family. My mom and dad although they had no idea. My mother is thinking, my daughter is in the newspaper every day. Everybody is coming to greet me. I'm practically a celebrity mom. And all of a sudden you want to go to do what?
When you're in politics, that's what she was talking about.
So you want to go. My mother cried.
I can't imagine.
My father was sick.
I even thought you meant with the therapy.
Yeah, my father was deaf. My father's on board with anything. If I decide tomorrow I want to be an
astronaut.
If I decide tomorrow, Daddy, I'm going to the moon. Okay, how do we get you there? What part of the moon would you like to explore?
Is he Nigerian?
No. So he's actually in the Caribbean right now. But very much my parents, my family, my friends, certain mentors as well.
So they encourage you from the beginning, and they didn't find it weird in any way.
Very much encouraging, but I've always been a faith-led child and adult now. So if I say, for example, I feel like God is telling me this, they'll still question me because it's good to test everything, but they will go in prayer with me, not like say, oh, don't do that kind of thing.
And that helps a lot.
It does. Having the right people around you makes a difference in who you become very much. Because you become the people around you.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Exactly. And I think that has been said in even some philosophy.
Yeah,
that's the people around you actually form you.
Very much.
And if they had your network, and everything.
Bad company corrupts good character.
Exactly.
So that's how you put it. I very much appreciate my journey. I think the only challenging things that I had to probably encounter were partnering with people most times.
Murielle, I've been listening to your wonderful, beautiful journey and in your career in mental health. And I'm wondering, I'm sure my viewers are wondering, because I, as an entrepreneur, yes, there's the impact side, there's the side of servicing, but where's the side of making money? Do you have dreams and aspirations to actually make a billionaire to grow, really big or even more. I mean, of course, a billionaire is the beginning and even more. Do we see this as something that's extremely viable to give you that kind of income or that kind of network?
Yeah, I'm going to say two things. I'm going to start with God again, right?
Yes,
we're going to start with God.
Not a problem
again,
at all.
Right? I believe I'm on God's payroll. That's number one.
You're on God's payroll.
I'm on God's payroll. Because
Did you hear that?
Because remember, I gave up everything, right? To follow what He has asked me to follow.
Wow.
Do you understand? So the first thing is I believe I'm on God's payroll. The second thing is money is always a byproduct of value and impact. Do you understand? If you can provide value, do you understand, value that people need in a way that they need it, the money will come. But at the end of the day, my joy, right, is seeing lives changed. In the people's lives being changed, then finances do flow. Do you understand? But then again, like I said, I'm on God's payroll, and God sees all of His children very, very well.
And that's how you see it. So you don't need. So do you in your, because in my corporate business, and I'm sure a lot of other businesses, we sit down at the end of the year and say, oh, this is what we've been able to achieve. This is the target for next year. So do you give yourself targets the same way?
Definitely.
Do you have a revenue? Do you have a drive? Do you have something you're aspiring to at every quarter, every biannually, and even annually too? Is the same thing in this business?
Definitely. Very much so. I have not started. I've not scratched
the surface. I was expecting you to say that. You are just starting.
I'm just starting now. This is baby.
This is just a baby.
This is a baby.
Wow. So we're going to see Murielle in another light that we have never seen before.
You're going to definitely.
Interesting. So would you say, or can we talk about it at this point? Do you have dreams and aspirations, things that you'll be expecting your company to be?
Definitely.
To be. So can you share one or two of them?
I like to leave babies incubated until we birth them.
You're not the only one. But if there's any little thing you can share something along the lines or something. Not to push you.
I would like to see mental health become become very accessible in not just Nigeria, but also in Africa. I'd like to see it be also quality therapy services. Yeah, definitely. So not that, you come to someone and you leave worse than how you came.
I think, as I mentioned to you, I've had close relatives who had issues, and I won't lie to you. The mental health facilities
and
here.
You have to.
I don't understand it. Let me not say anything, but I just don't understand.
You have to.
They don't see the process to the end, and it's more of money first before service.
You have to see.
So at the end of the day, you don't even get anywhere.
No, but I definitely see that. People have to see especially those that are training, and I'm getting some now to also train. So we're gonna see.
Okay.
This is just scratching on
the surface.
We're good.
So how has emotional intelligence helped you to balance your work as a therapist and the business side?
Very much so, I love emotional intelligence. Everything about EQ fascinates me. I'm so fascinated.
I think everybody needs it in every sector. It's not just mental health at all.
Needs it, but I think emotional intelligence has played a strong role in me being able to pivot quickly and not be angry. So maybe, a lot of people say, I was talking to a tailor, talking about sectors, and she had to deliver a dress to me in the UK, and she was in Nigeria. And DHL were doing a bunch of different things. I had traveled out, I needed my dress. It was a whole 900 yards, right? I'm just going to use this example to piggyback to work.
Yes.
And on my birthday, she sent me a message. She said, "Happy birthday, Ma. I want to say thank you because I've never seen somebody keep their cool like you." Do you understand? Because she made a whole list defending herself of
why the dress
may not arrive, but it arrived, eventually. And she said, I've gotten so accustomed of everybody wanting to run me down the ground that I was ready to be defensive, and you were like, nobody is fighting you. Do you understand? So being emotionally intelligent has really helped me to keep my calm in a lot of different situations. I don't get into arguments with people. I argue with no one. I get straight.
You never argue with anyone?
No, I don't. Why?
I'm not saying your clients, because those are the people you're interfacing.
No, but no one.
Oh, that's hard.
Absolutely no one.
Don't you have employees at all?
I do.
However, you're the only one who provides the service. That's another issue I need you to discuss. Because you are the therapist, you are the one seeing the clients, you are the one doing everything.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
No, I mean, I have different people.
Do you have other therapists in your business?
I definitely have different people working with me, different people working for me.
I'm not talking about the PA now. I'm not talking about administrative stuff. I'm talking about technical expertise.
I do, but like I said, that has actually been what my challenge has been.
It has to be. You can't scale. You can't be everywhere at the same time.
You can't.
And I noticed that
to be able to scale,
your scheduling was crazy.
No, my scheduling is scheduling.
And because of what you do.
Yeah.
Because you have to do most of those therapy sessions yourself.
Absolutely.
And I'm not berating it at all, that you don't get me wrong. I'm saying because you have the expertise and you have the calling, you have the vision.
Yeah.
So you're the only one who can translate it.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the struggle, the question I asked before.
Yeah.
How can you scale? Because if you don't scale, you don't get to a particular revenue threshold.
Yeah, the way I scale and my plans to scale have a lot to do with training and hiring.
Okay.
Do you understand?
That's internally.
Yeah. No, so internally training and hiring different people who have the skill set, but not just the skill set, because some people have a degree and no capability. Do you understand? Which I have also seen.
Noticed,
do you understand?
Yes. They have the degree, but they haven't even practiced.
No, not even the practicing. Like full. I mean, I could share this because she would let me. Like, I have colleagues in Holland who would call me and be like, "Okay, what do I do? What do I do? I'm here, but what do I do?"
That's the met the client.
Yeah, so basically,
but that's already wrong. They want to kill that patient.
No, it's more in the likes.
Anyway, they always
sometimes
share.
People
even medicals.
People do things because of a whim of doing it. It sounds good. It sounds cute, but not being able to put themselves in that position. And remember, my job contains of hearing people's problems and issues and challenges on a daily basis. On a daily basis, I'm dealing with this issue, that issue. This person just passed away. This person wants to get a divorce. This person has a heartbreak. This person.
Do you know I actually thought you actually had a personal encounter that actually drove you to start this business? Personal issue, maybe a traumatic thing, maybe you lost somebody.
No.
So it was very strange to hear. I was ready for that, and I said that's why I had my tissues ready, because I thought maybe you had lost somebody, and that's why you delve into this.
No, it was a dream,
and it was God's direction.
It was a dream and a document in the dream.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you can carry on.
No, it's pretty much coming from the place of being able to train people. But like I said, I work for some very capable people, and I'm grateful that, my services are valued.
And you enjoy it.
And yeah, I do. Very much so.
Well done. You're changing the landscape of mental health issues or mental health service in Nigeria.
Definitely.
And in Africa, I must believe.
Yes, very much.
Because you actually do a lot outside the country too.
Very much so.
Well done.
Very
well done. So for those interested in integrative therapy and personal development service, how would they go about it? What would you advise the viewers who want to go into this field? What should they do? How can they start?
Yeah, I think you should first think about
why.
Your why, for sure. But also think about what brand you want to impact. So I'm very much wanting to impact helping people heal from past pain and trauma. So trauma.
So that's your.
Yeah, that's where
Why trauma?
Because most people feel like after they hit the ground, they can't get up. And I want to prove them that you can. Do you understand?
Yes, of course, I definitely
And trauma
do.
is it's like you brace yourself for impact, and this thing happens to you. I tell
like
people
a
all
loss
the time,
of a child, the
tell
loss
some
of
people all
a
the time,
spouse.
plan for your joy, because you'll never have to plan for hard days. Hard days are going to come.
No, repeat yourself again.
I always tell my clients,
plan for your joy.
Plan your joy.
Okay.
Book the holiday, book the tea with your friends,
Okay.
go to the movie, plan your joy, because you can plan your joy, but you see those hard days, you don't have to plan them. They will come unannounced. Just wake up one day and this has happened. You wake up another year, that has happened. So plan your joy.
So how are they related? Are you trying to say it will help you to brace?
It helps you to understand the delicate intricacy of balance that we call life, this experience that we get to live. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
So that they enjoy life, and also when those things come, we know that this is life itself.
Because certain traumas literally knock the wind out of you.
Completely.
Do you understand? It knocks life out of you. How do you explain that you went to the hospital with your pregnant wife, and your wife and your child is gone? And it's just you.
I'm actually cold hearing that.
Do you understand?
I have a friend who has gone through the trauma of losing her child.
Yeah.
And not the child as a baby, because in a baby you will cry, well, it's not so big, but child that is already in its 20s. How does that person come out of that?
It's very hard.
Is it doable?
Oh, very doable.
I mean, so I'm asking you a straightforward question.
No, it's very doable.
How?
It's a process, of course. You have to go through the process of grieving. It's a whole process. We would be here, me explaining this, but really and truly, it's very doable.
It's very doable.
It doesn't mean that sadness won't come. It doesn't mean that she won't be triggered by his picture or different things that she's seen, but she's going to be more empowered to live life than disempowered.
And that's the part now.
Yeah.
She hasn't been able to let go even after a couple of years.
Time does not heal wounds. Time buries them. So
time does not heal wounds. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
No.
That time buries them.
Yeah.
Buries them, but it will come out again.
Yeah. Time does not heal wounds.
So why do people say time heals all wounds?
I have no idea.
Where did that come from?
Time does not heal wounds.
It doesn't. So what heals wounds?
Processing them.
Healing process.
Opening up the wound and allowing it to go through the process so that you can understand why do I feel this? Where did this come from? How do I go through this? How do I look at this different? How do I want to move forward? It's by asking difficult questions, hard questions. That's why I say therapy is not kumbaya. Therapy is not for the weak of heart. Sometimes,
have you gotten a case from a client where you cannot even, you think this is too much?
No.
Okay.
No. Sometimes my clients come to therapy in their pajamas. Murielle, this is what I have for you today.
Are you serious?
This is what I have for you. You told me to come as I am. This is how I am.
Wow.
And this is how I am. So, say what you want. I'm listening. Because you deal with all kind of emotions. All kind of emotions.
It must take you a lot of maturity too.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from the skill, which is very, very crucial.
Yeah.
But you also have to have a mental balance.
Yeah.
As well as maturity to be able to
very
take on all that sad, because you are focused on trauma, so it's a lot of sad stories.
Very much.
Doesn't that affect you as a person, as a human being?
No.
Why? Because of God's grace.
Because of God's grace, but also because let me tell you a joke. It's gonna sound like a joke, right? I didn't actually know, right, that when people come to me and say, "Oh, you're probably so burdened." And I used to think,
that's exactly what I'm saying indirectly. That everybody's dropping all their problems on you.
What do they mean that I'm burdened? Burdened by what? I didn't actually ever see it.
Feel it in any way or form.
Anyway, because I have a system in my own life, that allows me to be able to function optimally, regardless of what I'm doing. Do you understand? I have pillars in my life things that I do that.
Okay,
so I never see somebody
fill those space. That space that bad information would not necessarily
it's
take.
most like I do a lot of things that not just bring me joy, but I very much live life on God's terms.
It's back to God any which way. And that's why I say it's His grace. At the end of the day, it's His grace, because He envelopes you and He protects you from it. Because I can tell you for free, even abroad, you can even read and I mean, you've sure you read and researched it. Some therapists actually go crazy after a while.
Yeah, but
because they've taken in so much.
Yeah, but
and allowed it to go into that.
Yeah, but that means there are systems. If I'm telling you right now, if a client does not come in front of me right now, I don't even remember. I mean, I remember helping you. I remember the homework I gave you, but I'm not carrying your story with me. Do you understand? Moreover, I'm even carrying your end. Because that's actually what I see.
Where you see. Do
you understand?
Which is a very good way to look at it. You're carrying the end, not the problem at the beginning. And what
I actually don't see problems in therapy and not in life. I have a very different mindset, to life.
Join us on Omon's Couch, where inspiration meets action. If you're a remarkable entrepreneur or a career giant with a unique story to share, we want to hear from you. Become our guest on Omo's Couch and empower others with your journey, experiences, and valuable insight. Together, we can help young professionals and entrepreneurs reach their full potential. Use the link provided in the description below to apply for yourself or nominate someone who deserves to be on this show. Let's inspire together. You've talked about your journey and everything in between. What are the challenges you see doing this job and your career, your journey? What have you faced? Because you must have faced some problems, even when you've been led by God. I'm sure you must have.
Very much so.
Have you also thought of, no, I don't think that question would go for you. That's thought of quitting.
Have I thought of quitting? No. I don't think. I'm asking God in my head, have I thought of quitting? But challenges.
But is very difficult once have come.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give you a prime example.
Okay.
I remember wanting to partner. I had researched. I found this other, mental health practice. Okay. I'm not gonna give any details.
No names. No,
and
not at all.
Because somebody wanted me to help them, but my schedule was too full. They were recommended to me, but my schedule was too full and I couldn't take them. So I wanted to, give them to somebody. So I called this place. I made sure they had all of the tests this person would need. I asked them all of the questions to make sure that they know what they're doing. And I was like, this seems like a great place. I was very excited about it. I think at the time I was on my way to the Netherlands. I was like, this is great. This person I could send other people to them. It was just really great. And they said, thank you so much. We'll even pay you commission. I said, no, you don't need to pay me anything. Just, do a great job. And I was on my way.
Wow.
Only to get a call from the person.
The client now.
Yes, practically in tears. Telling me I need to create room for them in my schedule because I wouldn't be able to know what just happened to them. And I was like, what?
How could I
I'm thinking, let me go to them. Let me go to the practice myself. When I got there, the way the person treated me was as if
they didn't know you're the one.
Spoke to them at all. That I didn't call them, that I didn't refer. And I remember that's probably the first time I cried heavily in my career.
Of course.
And I remember going back home. Tico, I remember.
Was it Nigerian? I didn't want.
No, I'm not saying anything. So I now went back home. And when I go home, I was like, God, I'm crying. And I take my job very seriously,
obviously.
Do you understand? Yes. In the past, different things that may have happened that, I autocorrect like 0.001 seconds. Do you understand? That's how quickly, I want to change things. And I remember coming home and I was like, God, and I remember going.
Wait, you didn't get any resolution at all?
No,
nothing.
No, they treated me like it was the first time they ever saw me or heard about me in my life.
Wow.
Because the client was so uncomfortable. I said, you know what, let me even come into this session with you. Maybe I can talk
did you go with the client too?
No, I left to go with them because of what they said. Okay. Do you understand? So they gave me feedback. So I thought, let me join so I can see, what's happening. So I came into, and literally, I can't even describe what I experienced that day. But I was like,
But you say what I said at the beginning.
It was
mental health facility or therapist in Nigeria. I couldn't even finish that sentence. It's something.
It was utter shock. So it was just I just really didn't expect it. How my friends they say I didn't experience it.
I didn't experience it.
That's what really happened that day. And since then, finding different partnerships to partner with different people. So this would be your greatest challenge
to be able to duplicate yourself.
I don't even want to duplicate. I just really want to find people who really are passionate about helping people.
And with the same passion and the same values.
And passionate about learning the skills that it takes, but also passionate about really caring about the person. I literally have clients from years back that still send me pictures today, about, how well they're doing. And, so it's just really finding people who genuinely care and who don't want to be in competition. Do you understand?
So that's been a lot of challenge.
Who don't want to be.
So are you still going to find that company or that person?
I will. Because
but it's still something you're looking for.
It's still something I'm working on actively, but I will.
Yeah.
I already started finding some good ones. I trust that.
You'll find.
Definitely.
Yeah, I believe. Just pray about it. I'm sure to be certain that God will lead you to the right source.
I'm sure God has the answer.
Yes. And I'm sure He actually did that to teach you a lesson or something.
I don't believe, God orchestrates certain things, but I do believe He allows it
things to happen.
To work out for our good.
Yes.
So
He allows things to happen sometimes to learn and to see and get stronger.
Definitely.
Interesting.
Definitely.
So is there any other challenge you've actually faced in this business? Aside from getting very good entrepreneurs to work with you?
All of it boils down to that.
It's still there.
Because if I tell you my schedule is too full, it boils down to that.
Okay.
If I tell you, I would want to collaborate with more people, it boils down to that. It really boils down to that particular
At the
part.
end of the day.
And just people who are not like envious, who just really want to partner to work and build. There are so many different branches and so many different ways to do this work.
Yes. And there are many areas of it too.
One of the things that really bother me is when somebody sits down and tells me they've been doing sessions for 2 years. And after I talk to them for 10 minutes, I'm confused. I'm confused.
Who are you?
How are you doing something for 2 years and this is where we are?
Wow.
Like how? Explain it to us. Make it make sense. But again, like I said, one of the things that have heavily worked for me is allowing other disciplines, allowing different disciplines to make the difference. Because there's something that I would see with neurolinguistics that I could get you with that would not directly work with CBT, or something I could use this method for that wouldn't work for that. So it's really about being able to adjust, being able to be flexible, being able to do BBO therapy and different forms of therapy. So it matters.
Wow. And my last question for you.
Yes, madam.
It would still be, it would come out from the same question we just asked. How have you been able to balance it all?
Balance? I don't believe in balance.
Okay. Or juggle it all.
I believe in harmony.
Harmony.
You understand?
You're using a therapeutic word like that. Harmony.
Because if you say balance means
you're being able to hold everything.
Like everything has to be on the same
level.
But I believe that if I give this thing 80% today, then I give the other thing 20%. Then do you understand? So the harmony across boards. In my life, there are seasons my friends and family know, do not call me. Do not text me, call me, because if you text me, I won't see your text. There are seasons they know, call my assistant to get me. Okay. Don't be offended.
So that means we're very lucky that we have you on this couch today.
I'm very honored.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
This is very beautiful.
I love your journey.
Yeah.
I love your journey. I've loved everything you've talked about. I mean, the aspect of being led by God. I started my own business being led by God, so we share that in common. And having the fact that you followed through, but not in the same way that you heard Him. So mine is different. I prayed, I wanted to do this, and I asked God if I could do this. So mine is different, and He said, and of course He made it, He enabled it to happen. But yours, you're doing something, He says, stop this and continue. No, that's not the way.
I was definitely
mine happened
on a completely different path.
Yeah.
And God just switched everything.
Yes. And I'm seeing something in your industry too. You can't fake it.
No.
You can't just do anything now. You have to understand that skill.
Yeah.
You have to have the training, you have to have the certification, you have to have the qualification.
Yeah.
You can't wing it. There's no way. And so anybody who wants to go into this field, do not try to wing it, because you will not only create problems for yourself, you will destroy a lot of lives.
Yeah.
For the wrong solutions.
Yeah. You have to be able. You really have to be able to help people and see the difference in helping people. And because the way that I do it is very much, and I noticed that in America, at least, a lot of people in my field are moving away from a lot of the stuff that they study. To be honest, do you understand? They find that it's not the holistic approach. Do you understand? So you have more and more people studying different disciplines. to be able to help people quicker. Something else that I do is I
combine knowledge of different other areas to be a full,
definitely
integrative
and
solution.
Something else that I do is I pay attention to the race where somebody is from. I don't speak to an American client like an Indian client, or an Indian client like a Nigerian client, or a Nigerian client like I don't do that.
Your demography has a lot to do with the way
So one
you
of the
see
things I did, we call it ISP, is I'm actually certified as an intercultural social professional. So I love cultures, but I study cultures to be able to understand, hey, like what does this, I would never tell a Nigerian that comes to me, be strong. You should be resilient. Nigerians are born resilient.
Yes, exactly.
You understand? Why am I telling you to be strong? You know how to be strong.
Tell me something else. Yes.
And I did a whole TED talk on it as well. Like the way we approach mental health in Africa can't be the same that we approach it in the Western world. It shouldn't be. So
it's really critical. I think so. There's really, when we're on this couch, we're talking to people who want to delve into this field. And this is now like mental health field. So one of the things I'm saying here is you don't really need an investment in anything but knowledge.
You need knowledge.
Knowledge and which is learning, certification and everything. And with that, you can actually thrive.
Definitely. Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. Murielle, we're going into the fun part of this segment, and I'm going to ask you a trivia question. So listen, and I hope you can answer correctly.
I hope so.
Okay, my question is, what is the most common son name in Nigeria?
The
most common son name in Nigeria.
Adebayo. That's what I hear a lot.
Another name?
That's a surname I hear all the time.
To you? Okay.
Yeah.
Think again. Another tribe? Let me give you a hint.
Yeah, give me a hint.
I said another tribe?
Which tribe is it?
You just called the Yoruba name, so what other name?
I really don't know.
Oh, I may even be wrong. You may actually go for two tribes too.
Yeah.
Just call anything. Let's hear you. It's not much.
I think I have more first names than surnames. I actually don't know.
Okay. Let me give her the answer to this question.
Yeah?
The answer is Ibrahim.
Ibrahim, actually, that's true.
Seriously?
That's actually true. I knew. I just didn't think it was so well known, but I've heard so many different ones.
The surname is Ibrahim in the book of intelligence or whatever says it's Ibrahim for Nigeria. Strange. I'm definitely not an Igbo name, but I think Ibrahim works for both cultures, Yoruba and the Hausa.
I think so too. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to Almost Couch, and I'm so honored to have you here. And we need to keep in touch.
We definitely
do. Thanks for watching Almost Couch. I am sure you are eager for another inspiring story. So click here to watch another episode, or click here to subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.